I'll sack that fool. Hit him, 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 hit him. Smash him up, watch that move. Wind too swift, can't catch these dudes. Hit him, 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 hit him. Listen, 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 listen. It's Eagles talk, let's talk Eagles. Philly bleed green, it's from your people. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's beat the squad. Big Pat Shelley, Dante the Dark Child. Drop the stats on him, drop the facts on him. Spur King, baby, let's get it on.
And welcome to Eagles Talk by Eagles fans for Eagles fans. I'm your boy Pat. Dante will be by shortly. Nichelle might be on also. I'm here solo and dolo by myself as we start our off season and look for what's next. Thank you for tuning in to Eagles Talk all season. We appreciate y'all. It's something that we do here. He's been doing here for a very long time, well over 10 years now. And we appreciate the support and the viewership from each and every one of you Eagles fans as we prepare for our offseason and get ready for the NFL Combine and the NFL Draft as the Philadelphia Eagles try to restock and retool for the 2026 season. It's early. We're still looking for the offensive coordinator. We lost the one of the defensive coordinators. We'll talk about that and more in a little bit. But it's always Eagles. It's always Go Birds. It's always Bird game over everything, regardless win, loss, or tie. Even us getting kicked out the playoffs and watching this drive behind playoffs, you know what? It's still Philadelphia Eagles, regardless of what it is. We are still the 2024 defending champions, and it's still good to represent our Philadelphia Eagles with this championship ring. You see that 2 world championships right there. It feels great. Right now, as you know, we're down to the Final Four in the NFL playoffs. I don't know if you're watching it. I'm barely watching it. I kind of forgot who's actually in the championship games for the respective conferences. But I'll talk about that in a minute. But make sure you share the show. Follow us on YouTube, Eagles Talk. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And as we prepare for this upcoming season, and some hard things is probably going to happen very shortly with our players that are leaving the free agency, and also some coaches that we may get, some coaches that we're going to lose. It's all in what it is to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan. So I'm going to get this thing started. Let me know what you're drinking out here. This is the Philadelphia Eagles. This is not Philadelphia Eagles. This is Eagle Talk by Philly Eagles fans. Here at Eagles Talk, we like to do something very unique. We'd like to talk about our favorite team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and drink our adult beverage. Now, adult beverage does not mean liquor. It means whatever you drink that is your beverage of choice. It can be apple juice, it can be cranberry juice, it can be vodka, it can be whiskey, bourbon, or like I'm doing tonight, some good old tequila, some Tres Agaves. All right. Yeah, I'm doing the Blanco. I know everybody's saying, why are you doing the Blanco? No West Rosario. It's all right. Let me know what you're drinking out there so we can salute our Philadelphia Eagles, even though we got bounced out the playoffs. It's all good in the hood. So as we get ready to pour up a shot for our Philadelphia Eagles and all those players that's about to leave us, I want to salute you, our viewers, our fellow fans that tune into Eagles Talk week in and week out, who always comment and say, hey, y'all not on yet. Where's Nichelle? Y'all have Nichelle in the holdout. They commented when my brother came back on, Shelman. We appreciate y'all, and we're looking forward to be bigger and better moving forward. So to our Philadelphia Eagles and to you, down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the First on Order.
That was real. I had tequila in so long. Whew. Let me get to some comments real quickly. First one in the room is John D. Batista, South Carolina Bird Gang checking in. What's going on, John? Eagles Talk all season edition. Let's go, Philly. He also said we lost our secondary coach. Gosh, yeah, that hurts even more. That where he went, to become the defensive coordinator. So that's a tough pill to swallow. But you know what? That's what happens when you have these young, ambitious coaches. Tina, what up, Tina? All right, you drinking a buzz ball, huh? Brandon Ware said we're gonna be all right. Northwest Bird Gang. We just need a competent offensive coordinator. Yes, we do. Athena Goodman said, no OC yet. No. There's multiple reports out there talking about this is not a desirable destination. That these offensive guys are settling for these other teams. They'd rather go to these other teams than come to a team that has a quarterback like a Jalen Hurts and a receiving core that's in defunct. There were also reports talking about how Jeff Stoutland, him having the ability to be the run game coordinator might stop some of these offensive coordinators coming here. I don't think any of these reports are true. They are just reports. And of course, you take these reports with a grain of salt unless you hear it from the horse's mouth. Rachel said, hey, good afternoon or good morning or whatever you are. Go Birds. So we have the New England Patriots versus the Denver Broncos. That's going to be a very interesting matchup. There is no Bo Nix. Then you have the Rams in Seattle. I'm not going to give you my predictions for that. Whatever happens, happens. I don't really care, truthfully. What I'm looking at right now is our Philadelphia Eagles, what we have to do as we take a track and look at our offensive coordinators. Some guys are off the books already. McDaniels is gone. I think Robinson is gone. I think we just requested the offensive coordinator Jim Bob Cooter from the Colts. Jeff McDaniels will be the new offensive coordinator for the Chargers. It looks like, listen, I already told you who I want. I want Charlie Weis Jr. He's the offensive coordinator the former offensive coordinator from Ole Miss. I think he just signed a new contract with another college team, but he could be persuaded to come to the NFL and be very productive with our offense because he did well with Jason Dart at quarterback at Ole Miss, and he did even better with Trimble there at Ole Miss this year. Got them to the Final Four, I believe, in the college football series. What do you think? Who do you think we should we recruit for our offensive coordinators? I'm gonna throw some names out there, and no, we cannot get Sean McDermott to be our offensive coordinator. He's a defensive guy, so please don't say that. Right now, Zach Robinson, yes, he won't be our coordinator. He's gone. There's another. I did have a whole list of coordinators that will be there. But again, like I said, I want Charlie Weis Jr. I don't care who else is out there. I think he's a young guy that wants to prove himself and go from under the shadow of his father, who's Charlie Weis, who led the offense for the Patriots to several Super Bowls. I think he's the one that will make this offense a more dynamic and viable offense, the one that we deserve as Eagles fans, not just everybody run a hitch to 6 or 7 yards, run a hitch. Because as a defensive back, if I see that, that makes life easy. That makes life so easy. Let me go through some offensive coordinators that are available. Everybody's saying we should bring back Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll most likely will be the next head coach for the Buffalo Bills or the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. So I don't think we're going to get him, unfortunately. And truthfully, I'll be honest with you. I don't want anybody from our conference that we had a little bad thing with Charlie Weis. Let's be honest. We didn't like Charlie Weis. I said we didn't like Brian Daboll because he was the head coach with the Giants. He said that the way we ran our organization was crappy. So I never liked Brian Daboll. So I'm not a big fan of him. I see John D. Batista said Cliff Kingsbury, Frank Wright. He also said Doug Peterson. They're still available. I don't know if we're going to get Frank Wright or Doug Peterson. I don't think they come back into this building. Cliff Kingsbury is a very unique name. He was the offensive coordinator with the Washington Commanders, and that Commanders team actually was pretty doggone good with a healthy Jalen Daniels. That's a very intriguing name, but I don't think it's a name that we actually stick with or will be viable for us moving forward. Let me see some other offensive coordinators out there. I had a whole list of them. You know, when you're trying to find something, you can't find it. So I don't think I do like Jeff Kingsbury. Don't get me wrong, but again, I go back to Charlie Weiss. Charlie Weiss is the guy I'm looking for because I think he gives us the best ability to have um, somebody new in the bill, somebody that's not used to letting these guys do whatever they want. Because when you bring a new coordinator in that has never ran this offense, is running his offense, they have to, you know, basically try to get to the level of that offensive coordinator so they can run the offense. Not be like, oh, we already run this, let's do a different version of this. No, you got to understand that this person has never been in this organization before, and we have to understand that we have to really bog down and get his playbook, understand what it is to be in his playbook. That's why I like Charlie Weiss Jr. He is a guy that actually has different concepts to get receivers and tight ends and running backs open in the offense, and it works on all levels. Um, like I said, Mike McDaniel, he is now the offense coordinator for the Chargers. We just talked about Cliff Kingsbury, Joe Brady, the Bills offensive coordinator. That may be a possibility. I know we put out something there earlier. Um, some other guys, like I said, Charlie Weiss. I keep coming back to Charlie Weiss Jr. Mike Kafka actually had an interview with us just very recently. He was the interim head coach for the Buffalo Bills after Brian Daboll got fired. I'm not bringing in Mike Kafka. Somebody also said Brian Leftwich. Brian Leftwich is happy in college wherever he is, enjoying himself. I don't think he's coming to the pros. Um, let's see. Frank Wright, he would be a decent guy, but I'm not a big Frank Wright offensive coordinator guy yet. Rachel said Doug Peterson should if Howard can come back after the way Chip did. I like Doug. I think Doug is in a happy place right now. I don't think Doug wants to be a coach. I don't think he wants to be anywhere near having that responsibility any longer. And I think he's just happy being Doug Peterson. I would love to have him come back and be like a consultant to our offense, right? Be a consultant to whoever we bring in, be a consultant to Nick Sirianni. But I don't think that happens. We're getting more comments in here. Eddie, I love that comment. I'm reading in a second. We asked permission to interview the Bears offensive coordinator, Declan Dole. He definitely did good things in Chicago, particularly with Donald Swift and Kyle Moneygo. Think Saquon and Tank in that run scheme. Yes, I like that, but at the same time, that passing game was something to be desired because it was more or less improv with their quarterback. It was all improv with their quarterback. He didn't really have on time routes. When they played us, uh, it wasn't just like it was a running game attack, and that's what we want. We want our running game to take over. So I get the idea of bringing them in and revitalizing our run game. But we got to make sure that not only this running game is dynamic, but our pass game needs to be dynamic and not bland. Eddie said, "I love this, man. Screw Dayball. Declan Boyle will actually not be a bad fit. Yeah, I don't think he would be a bad fit. I think that would be a pretty good fit for us. I think that actually is a good idea. But I want to see more from the passing route. I mean, listen, like I said, we revitalized that running game, but that pass game, Devontae, AJ, if we bring back Dallas Goddard, whoever's going to be that third receiver, uh, our run game needs to complement our pass game. Pass game needs to complement our run game. We can't just be a one will team. We have to feed our stars, and it all starts with the offensive coordinator being a competent offensive coordinator. So, but we should see. I kind of trust Howie. I know they said that Nick Sirianni is leading the charge. Don't believe all that. I believe that Howie and Jeffrey Lurie is leading this charge, and I believe they're actually talking with their offensive guys to say, what you think about this. I really think they're including the offensive guys and their head coach in this, so they can make sure they make the best decision, not just for Nick Sirianni, but for the team and for the individuals. That's what you have to do. You got to throw your egos aside, and you got to make sure that the people that you bring in here fit the scheme, and the players can say you can really capitalize off their scheme. And he said, "Here comes he comes from the McVay tree. I think he can scheme it." I believe so. And the crazy thing, I saw an interview that um, Debo from Pittsburgh, a retired linebacker, James Harrison said about. They was asked about his former coach Mike Tomlin. Do you think Mike Tomlin will be a Hall of Fame coach? And he said flat out no, because he doesn't have any disciples. And Eddie's right there. It said he comes from the McVay tree. One thing about having these guys leave your actual do good with your organization and spread out and be head coaches or be offensive coordinators. I mean, that's what Debo is talking about. And I look at Nick Sirianni. Every single year he has an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator that end up being a head coach. I think we're looking at the next, what's it? Steve Wash. All right, I'm on wrong Sean. I got you, Eddie. Sean Payton, not McVay. Well, either or. I mean, it comes from a good tree. That's a good tree to come from. So let me end this quarter. I know Dark Knight will be on shortly.
And that's the end of the quarter.
As we get ready to really dive into our off season, this is one of the parts of the season that is just, especially when you're not playing in the NFC Championship game, you try to not look at the games because this is like these guys suck. I mean, the 49ers talked all that mess. Yes, we did lose to the 49ers, but the next week they got blown out. Like they had a sign, the quest for 6. All they did is put up 6 points. So them bums. So just let me know what you're drinking out there as we salute to our Philadelphia Eagles on the off season. I truly can't wait to really dive into who's going to be coming out of the college football, who's coming out this year in the draft, and who we're looking at for players, the NFL combine, to really evaluate some of these players, because I want to do an in-depth look at what the Eagles really need. And truly, the Eagles we already know they need another corner. We need some offensive linemen. We need another tight end. And there's some players that are going to be coming out this year that I would not mind having. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not going to mention any of them right now, but later down the road, when we have our draft show and we have our combine show, stuff like that, I will mention these players and give you some in-depth information about them as I get ready to prepare you for our off-season schedule. So let me know what you're drinking out there. I am joined the Trey Vegas, Blanco, tequila. Very good. If you're in a tequila, make sure you grab one of these. Very organic. It's actually real tequila. There's no additives in it. I know this is just the Blanco version, but it's still doggone good as I get ready for the snowstorm here up in Philadelphia. So let me know what you're drinking out there to our Philadelphia Eagles as we take it down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the second quarter.
Oh man, whew. That's some good stuff. You got to let the air hit it and bring it alive. What's up, Jeremy? Jeremy said when he come to Philly, he's gonna get off that water. I got you, JT. Jackie Myers, what up, Eagles fan? What's going on, Jackie? I know we came on a little bit late today because we weren't going to come on today, but we had to come on and do something. I know Dark Knight had to go get his haircut. You know, he had to go get sharp for the people. So he should be on shortly. Michelle, you know, she's a boss. She has a lot of things going on, and her schedule is very tight when it comes to these Thursdays and stuff of that nature. So we would definitely respect that. My brother, truly, I don't even know who my brother is. Um, I don't know where my brother is. I know he's out somewhere. He probably try to smoke a cigar or take a shot somewhere. Uh, Jackie's journal is Stella a Taurus. A funny story about Stella. I was doing some of my classes here at Pierce College when I came back home from Penn State, and one of my buddies in my classroom said, "Look, listen, man, I'm gonna take you get some food. We're gonna talk a little business." I said, "All right, cool." Went to a pizza joint, and he brought me this big old Stella. I'm like, I can't drink this. I don't even drink beer. He said, "Drink this, man. We go to class. We're gonna have a great class." Yeah, I felt for peer pressure, and that was one of the best beers I ever had in my life. Not only was I well aware of what's going on in the classroom, I answered all questions and stayed up for for all 3 hours of that class. All right, so Eddie is into the Pepsi Zero. Eddie, I gotta tell you, man, I know you're in California. Enjoy that weather because we're about to get about 13 inches of snow. Uh, somewhere it's gonna get a foot. I listen. That's why they get some tequila. I got my whiskeys. I got some. My brother's gonna bring some beers. I got some steaks in the freezer. I got some chicken. I got some veggies, and then of course I had to get some ice cream. I don't know why I got ice cream, but we got ice cream. Chucky Myers said we're expecting a hard freeze here in Augusta this weekend. Pat, so bundle a hard freeze, really? I'm about to get 13 inches of snow, and you're in Augusta and get a hard freeze. I will bundle up. I will be in the house. I'm not going to do anything too rigorous out there because it's going to get crazy. I wish we had football this weekend. That would have been the best thing. That would have been a best thing if we could got if we could have had a championship game this week, especially this weekend, and this snowstorm that's coming. Oh man, that would have been a thing of beauty. Eddie said, I got rain, brother. Timu shell. Yeah, that's the Timu of snow. We were killed with the snow. Definitely, JT. We definitely killed with the snow. But some other things that's going on. We are losing a offensive coordinator. Pause. We are losing I'm sorry, not an offensive coordinator. We're losing our defensive coordinator, Christian Parker, as he was our assistant passing game coordinator, and also the defensive backs coordinator. So he is now going to go to join our hated rival, the Dallas Cowboys, as their new defensive coordinator. So, I mean, even though he's going to the enemy, I do have to salute him for um, getting a position that a lot of these young coordinators want to get. He did well for our defensive backs. He turned two rookies into all pros, and Q and Cooper. He made our secondary one of the best secondaries in the NFL, hands down. And I wish him nothing but the best, except when he plays us. So we are losing some other guys. We are drawing some other. One of our executives is being lauded. I think that's what happens when you're this franchise. So it's going to be. We're not just replacing the offensive coordinator, we're replacing a defensive back coach. So it's more up to Howie Roseman. Make sure he brings in the right person for our offense now, since we're down a passing game coordinator. And for what I heard, believe it or not, I think Kevin Petrucci, even though he got fired from the offensive coordinator, he may go back to his old role as a passing game coordinator, which is kind of weird. What I heard, I don't know if that's true or not. Screw him, he's not an Eagle no more. You're right. Like I said, screw him, he's not an Eagle no more. But you know what, JT, as a fan of our Eagles, the better we are, the more coaches we lose. And I hope and pray that we can get an offensive coordinator that doesn't have that seal to go ahead who wants to be a head coach. Because I'm be honest with you, Kellen Moore was the perfect offensive coordinator for this offense. The perfect offensive coordinator for this offense. He blended the run game well, and he let everything in the pass game develop. He developed everything in the pass game, and that made everything function right. When you had the run game moving the way it was moving, the pass game was just easy. It was free flowing, and that's what we need in our offensive coordinator: free flowing offensive coordinator. Shout out to Vic Fangio, who's about to get the assistant coach of the year. He's a finalist. And Jahad Campbell, believe it or not, he made the let me make sure I say it right. He was named to the PFWA all rookie team. So he might not be the defense rookie of the year, but he's one of the best rookies on defense that came out of the draft last year. Jackie said that's why I guess I went through 10 years of Philly snowbound winters. Hey, Jack, I've been to two bad winters here since I've been alive. 1993 was it? 93, 96, and 2016. Oh crap! Is it every 10 years that we have bad snowstorms? Oh wow. Yeah, so 1996 was we got about 30 inches of snow. 2016 we got about 22 inches of snow. In 2026 we're about to get 13 inches plus. So I hear you. I hear you, Jackie. I hate to say moving down south is the thing I'm thinking about, but maybe in the next few years, I'll be down there somewhere close to Augusta, maybe down in South Carolina, back in Bowman country somewhere. I would love it to. I think I would really really enjoy it. My wife wouldn't like it, but because she likes the cold air, but I can't take it no more. But back to our Philadelphia Eagles. Let me know what are some positions that you think that we really need. I'm gonna tell you right now, the positions that we need is one, cornerback, two, tight end, three, offensive line. We actually need somebody to replace Tyler Steen. I cannot stand him any longer. I know there's some free agents that's going to be out there. I can't give you an actual accurate free agent listing because the season is not over, so we don't know what's what and who's who. But for our Philadelphia Eagles, we do have a listing, and I'm gonna try to pull it up again. Of course, you know how that goes. When you're trying to find something, you can't find it. But right now, I did find it. So for us, for our Philadelphia Eagles, unrestricted free agents will be safety Reed Blankenship, linebacker N'Kobe Dean, defensive end Jalen Phillips, defensive end Aziz Al-Jaluri, defensive end Brandon Graham, defensive end Joshua Uche, defensive end Agba. I can't pronounce his last name. Tight end Dallas Goddard, tight end Grant Cartera, tight end Kellen Grandson, wide receiver Jahan Dotson, running back AJ Dillon, offensive tackle Fred Johnson, offensive guard Brett Tooth, offensive guard Matt Pryor, quarterback Sam Howell, and punter Brandon Mann. We have a few that's there, but I'm gonna tell you right now, what we need is our number one priority should be either corner or guard. Our second priority, well, let me see this. Our first priority should be guard. All right, our first priority should be guard. Our second priority should be corner. Our third priority should be find a replacement for Lane Johnson. We need a replacement for Lane Johnson. All right, I'm be honest with you. That's what we need and we deserve. Jackie said How about 19 said I wasn't around, Jackie. When I was born in '83, they had a bad storm. My mom got caught in the snow, especially after the championship game. So, I wasn't around in '75, Jackie. Eddie said, player of needs, right guard, corner, tight end. I'm gonna be honest with you. As far as our free agents, I think we do retain. We work something out with Dallas Goddard on a 2-year or 3-year deal, and he comes back. But we do need a secondary tight end. I don't believe Grant Cancarter or Grant Kalen Granison comes back next year. So we do need some depth at that tight end position, and I'm looking into the draft for it. I see the kid from Oregon. He's a hybrid tight end like Clay Harbor, but I believe he can fill that role and be a dynamic second tight end in his first season here in Philly. John D. Batista says, come home to South Carolina. Eagles fans are deep down here. John, I do know they are deep down there, and I would love to come down there. Maybe in 5 years, maybe in 10 years, if the wife wants to go, we'll be down there. He also Jackie Myers also said we need to have we filled the OC spot. We have not yet. That position is still up for grabs. We're still looking at different coaches. We question different coaches. We just requested the offensive coordinator from the Bears, Dalen DeLuth, I think his name was. I can't remember off the hand. So it's still available, and we're hopefully within the next week or so we'll have offensive coordinator. Once that happens, we will have the show to talk about the offensive coordinator, and I'll get opportunity to look at their schemes and what they run. Eddie, the other question mark is Jerkins and Dickerson. Are they going to be 100% next? They better be 100%. Listen, you're off. You're in Cancun. Well, you're not in Cancun. You're somewhere rehabbing right now. All right. This is the ultimate break for your body. Go do the yoga. Go through all the treatments. Get all the stretching. Get everything that you need right now. All right. Get everything that you need right now. So in training camp starts when back in when the training camp start in April. No, training camp's not in May. May when the training camp opens up, you'll be ready to go. Dwayne McPherson said safety, corner, tight end, kicker. You already got rid of Jake Elliott. And listen, I told you the last show, we lost 7 games. If in every single game that we lost, Jake Elliott missed the kick. It was either extra point or it was a field goal. He doesn't miss it. It's a whole different look at that outlive of those games. Excuse me. Bring back big play Slay. He's very disgruntled in Pittsburgh. Well, Jackie, unfortunately, he's not in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh released him about week 13 or 14, I believe, and the Buffalo stinking Bills actually picked him up. And I just read something that the GM that got released or is getting released, whatever. They just picked Slay up, knowing that he didn't want to play for Buffalo. They just picked him up because they knew he wanted to play for one team only. So that's a spite move that they did, and good that they're out because forget him. But I don't think Slay's going to retire. He would be a great. I'll be honest with you. He'd be great to replace Christian Parker as a defensive backs coach, because the way he coached up Q and Cooper as a veteran here, I think he would be best served at 35, 36 years old to come back to Philly and be that defensive backs coach. It's open. Why not? My wife said South Carolina and down south vacation only. Yes. Maybe a vacation home, right? Maybe. Yes. All right. I'm just looking at her as she's watching me watch the show. All right. Let me end this quarter so we get into our next shot. Oh, man.
And that's the end of the quarter.
Well, I was waiting for Dark Knight to get on her, but I guess he had to travel a little bit farther than normal. So shout out to our Dark Knight. Shout out to my brother. Shout out to Michelle. This is Eagles Talk. By Eagles fans, for Eagles fans. We're a very unique show here at Eagles Talk. We like to drink and talk about our Philadelphia Eagles. We ask you that you drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. But if you do have to drink and it's adult beverage, it could be anything. It could be juice, soda, or tequila like I'm doing. I'm doing the Trey Vegas. And it's a very smooth tequila. Very good tasting. Very inexpensive, but delicious. So for our Philadelphia Eagles, as we get ready for the third quarter, after halftime, there go Dark Knight. I just saw him pop up in there. We're going to take one for our Dark Knight being here. And to all of you Philadelphia Eagles fans that support us throughout the year for the past 10 plus years that we have been on here. We've been on here for 11 years now? 10 years?
Not yet. 10 years next year. Next year will be our 10-year anniversary.
2016, right? We started?
Yeah, 2016 to 27. I mean, 16 to 17.
So it started as 2016 season. We started. All right.
Mhm.
So to the fans here, to everybody that's tuned into Eagles Talk over the years, we appreciate y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're gonna take a shot to you, the Philadelphia Eagles fans, and the Philadelphia and the Eagles Talk fans. Down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the third quarter.
Wow, I missed 2 quarters. All right, where catch me up. Have we talked about the OC and who everybody wants? We have not. I see Jack's comment here. Have we filled the OC spot? No,
So-
we have not. And we're in a pickle now because our top 2 choices were both hired. And that's not even the biggest thing. The biggest thing is that one of them wouldn't even come here and give us an interview. Now that's concerning to me. The one that I most wanted was
McDaniels.
Mike McDaniels, and he didn't even want to come and interview for the job.
He's too soft. He's too soft.
Well,
he needs to be wearing that pink fluffy outfit. That's what
I don't know. I don't know. There's more that goes into it. I understand that you know we're just looking for an OC. We're fans. We're just looking for an OC. But someone who's interviewing for that job, whether it's OC or head coach or whatever, even players, right? They have to do a lot more research than just the job. You know, they have to look at, is this a city that I want to live in? Like me at my age now, I don't like the cold. So I'm not taking a job where it's going to be cold at. I'm just going to be serious, right? So these guys are considering the same type of things. Like, do I want to live in a cold weather city? You know, and they don't have to live here the whole year, but during the season, it's cold in Philadelphia. And there's some people that don't want to do that. Like I would be one of them. But anyway, he considers that, right? Then he considers you know, us as fans and how the last OC was treated, right? And that's usually not anything that they have to worry about. But the timing is he happens to come in on the heels of an offensive coordinator who had his house egged. You know what I mean? So you're thinking about these type of things. It does. I mean, but those are the things they think about. Is this a city I want to live in? Is this, you know, are these fans? Am I ready for this? Even the press sometimes, and I think that anybody who's thinking about the press might be a little soft because, you know, there's going to be press everywhere. Although our media can be kind of tough, and not even our media. Like, you know, if you listen to any type of Philadelphia sports talk, our fans are brutal. You know what I'm saying? Like
we are.
I don't like. If I was a owner, GM, or whatever, I would have a sit down with my rookies or my free agents or whatever, just to go over media coverage. Like, and I would probably suggest that they not listen, actually, because you know, a lot of these players and some people are not emotionally ready and mature, or what's the word? Emotionally intelligent enough to handle listening to Philadelphia sports talk radio.
They don't have the emotional fortitude.
Right. They don't have the emotional fortitude to deal with listening to our fans and even our personalities, because the talking points that they bring up, you know, get right to the meat of things. And it sparks those type of responses from the fans, absolutely, right? So you have to think about all that. But in any instance, Dable and McDaniels, Dable looks like he wants the Buffalo head coaching job, but if he doesn't get it, he wants he's thinking about taking an OC job with someone else. I forget
Tennessee. So I'm gonna refer you to the comment that Eddie made earlier, because we did talk about OCs a little bit in the first quarter. In the second quarter, we're talking about what we want to see of our team moving forward, what fits and stuff of that nature as far as draft picks. So Eddie put up there, man, screw Daboll.
I wasn't big on Daboll. I didn't.
So I have to agree with Eddie on this one. If you come from our rival, right? Anybody that's from, it's hard to accept that person into our home, especially Daboll, who talked so much crap about our Philadelphia Eagles team, right? And also had one of the best running backs look like crap. Let's be honest with you. He made Saquon look like crap. And he said, you know, He let Saquon go. He didn't fight for his running back. So have him come back here. No, I already told you, Dartneck, last show. I know you had to go off, but Charlie Weiss Jr. He's the was the offensive coordinator for the Ole Miss Rebels in college. He made Jason Dart look very great, and he made Trimble, the quarterback this year, look great. Not only did he make those guys look great, he made that offense in Ole Miss look tremendous and almost unstoppable. This year, he got his team up to the Final Four in the college football playoffs. That's the offensive coordinator I want. Somebody that can scheme player. Jeremy ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna see him
Jeremy better get out of here with that
about 3
bullcrap.
weeks. He ain't going nowhere. So that's it. That's the head coach I want. I want the head coach that's going to scheme players open, run different schemes for different things, accept things to play chess, not checkers with your opposite defensive coordinator. That's what I want.
Well, I think that we all want that, right? I think that we all want, because basically what you're saying is you want an improved offensive coordinator. You want an offensive coordinator that is creative. You want an offensive coordinator who specializes in his getting his offenses to move the ball down the field. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think we all want that. I'm glad that you provided that information, because I don't know much about him. So I couldn't tell you. But all right, Jack is on there. He says West has a good pedigree. I know he's the son of Charlie West. He's junior, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't know much about him, but if he's what you say he is, and seems as though Jack is giving his approval. If he's that, I'm okay with that. I don't know much about him, but I do know I want a creative play caller who, because we know there's a totality to this thing. It's not just calling plays, right? It's getting into the right flow of plays, and then it's having the right plays to call, meaning good creative plays. We didn't have that. We didn't have either. We didn't have either with Petulo. We didn't have creative plays. We had very predictable plays, right? And then on top of that, he didn't have a play calling flow, which you have to. It's playing chess when you are calling plays. You're calling the play, one play to set up another play down the line. I mean, you have to be thinking like that, right? And I don't think that he grasps that fully. So we're looking for that in our new OC, our new play caller.
Yes.
I don't know much about this guy, but if he is what you say he is, I'm all right with that. I'm good with that.
That's what we need. And he offers that. He sets plays up in the first quarter, right? He sets those plays up that you know for the third quarter. Like he didn't play it this particular way and set you up, and he comes back in that same formation, and next thing you know is a whole change up. So that's what we need. We need somebody that's unique with the offensive play call, that is not sitting there watching the play.
We need that.
Not watching the play, but actually looking at. All right, I call this draw run play. All right, I'm gonna call this play action draw, but we're gonna run a screen underneath it. All right, after that, the next after we get the first down, we're gonna run a play action. We're going to double it with a motion, and we're going to do a double crossover with a short screen motion, like stuff like that. Not just all right, we're running 4 hitches, and just sitting back and waiting because no way in the world. Like Shell said,
I get it. That's
Shell said this last week. I know you didn't hear it. You had to take care of what you had to take care of. But Shell said this last week that every time Jalen got to the line of scrimmage, there's 7 seconds on the play clock. 7. You can't come to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I remember that. And he was right about that.
And be effective as a quarterback and look at what's in front of you and move your guys around with 7 seconds left on the play clock. That's not happening.
That's the coach. That's coaching. That's the coordinator, and that's why he's out of here. So, like, if we haven't, or for those that, but we have a smart group of followers, so they notice all this. And we've noticed that things like 7 seconds to go before they break the huddle, and that's on the coach, and that gives Jalen no time. That's just that was just one of many things that went wrong with this offense and this offensive coordinator. I like this comment that Eddie says. I like to talk about this. Philadelphia sports media, especially that Rossini lady, saying the Eagles is not an ideal location for OC is lunacy. Winning record, coach, roster, and not only that, every successful OC has gone on to be a coach. The only issues Eagles had were from within. I agree with a lot of that, but I'm starting to question whether this is an ideal location, right? I mean, we're a little biased, right? Because we're here, right? And this is our team. And I get it. Like I went into this whole process with that same thought process. This should be an attractive job for OCs out there. Just the reasons that Eddie just gave. Winning team, winning organization, I will even go there. I mean, we were defending Super Bowl champs, recent winners, and our roster is still good enough to win. And then not only on top of that, because the new OC is only going to be dealing with the offensive side of the ball, and it looks even brighter when you just focus on the offensive side of the ball. We're talking about a Saquon Barkley who is not past his prime. We're talking about an A.J. Brown, although there's some issue with him. His talent level is not questioned. He's still a top receiver in the league. And Devontae Smith on the other side. I don't know if we'll have Dallas Goedert back. He's going to be, up for negotiation this offseason. But that unit and the offensive line is still, I think, the above average offensive line. They didn't play like the dominant line that we're accustomed to because of injuries, but they're still a top line. So you look at this job from the outside and you say, who wouldn't want to come here? But there are those other things that I mentioned a little earlier. Do you want to live in the city and those things? And especially the issues that the Eagles have from within.
Yeah, we do
the hierarchy, the having to work under Sirianni. Some people that they're considering that the fact that if they're going to have autonomy or not, are they going to be able to bring in their staff or not? You know what I mean? Like those things matter to OCs coming in, and the talk, out there is how he likes to control a lot of things, right? And so you have to have the temperament to be able to come in and work under circumstances that may not, you may not be accustomed to, like not being able to bring your own offensive line person, or something like, those things matter to some people. Now you get the young guys that are, looking for their opportunity. They might not have a lot to say. They may be forced to settle,
like
or
simmer
deal
down.
with some of these things if they want the job. But you get a person like a Mike McDonald, who is a veteran at this, who has been a head coach, and this is not an attractive job. That's not an attractive job if you have to adhere to those stipulations. When you have a name and you can go get a job anywhere. So these are things that once I look at, I'm like, well, maybe this job isn't as attractive as I thought. I thought the roster, the talent that you're working with, and like Eddie said, every time an OC's come here and been successful, they've gotten a head coaching job. Who wouldn't want that? Well, we're finding out that the top minds in the game are kind of not wanting that. Now, there's still some people out there, and I think that, like you just mentioned, Charlie Weiss Jr., Kuda. People are talking about Kuda.
Joe Bob
who
Cooter.
else there? There's Nagy. I don't know about Nagy too much.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't want no Joe Bob.
Joe Bob Cooter sound like he sound like he's from down South Kakalaka. Where John Batiste said Cooter.
From South Carolina. I don't want that guy. Listen, I want to tell you this. I'm gonna repeat a something that I saw on the Facebook. All right, I want to say like the old head say the Facebook. The coach that just won a national championship, right? He's an amazing head coach. What he did, he doesn't call plays. He's a CEO head coach, right? Mike Vrabel, who is the coach for the New England Patriots, right? He doesn't call plays on offense or defense. He's a CEO head coach. We already knew Mike Tomlin was what? A CEO head coach. Nick Sirianni is one of the best coaches in the NFL. His tree, his lineage from the head coaches from his tree should
He don't have
alone.
a tree.
He does have a tree.
No,
Unfortunately,
I know.
you come here, you're going to get a head coaching spot. I can go through all the head coaches that left here with right. Shane Steichen, Gannon.
I'm sorry, Sirianni is not. He's not good. Gannon sucked. He's not. Look. This is. I'm not.
But Dark
and I
Knight.
hate to
What
do
I'm
this,
what I'm
man, 'cause
trying to
I've
say,
been
Dark
I
Knight.
had this conversation with someone just yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead.
What I'm trying to say, I know you had a conversation, and I know you feel like he is not the Steve Walsh of the West Coast office, bringing all these disciples and stuff like that, and making. I know he's not that. I get that, but he's a CEO head coach, and as a CEO head coach, you give these offensive coordinators the opportunity to be offensive coordinators. You step away from the game and just be a head coach. Now, they literally said it. They're going to give the offensive coordinator autonomy this year to be the offensive coordinator. Yes, the head coach has to have some say because he's the head coach, right? Just like your CEO has to have some say. Just because you're the GM don't mean you run his company. You have to answer to
He
somebody.
don't need to have a say. That's my problem.
Mhm.
He don't need to have a say, bro. Like like I just said, I had this conversation, and I hate to have it, but I question how great of a coach Sirianni is, and I give him all the credit in the world for winning the Super Bowl. You just don't, it's not an easy thing to do. If it was, everyone would have one. So I give him credit for that, but I am from the camp where I give more credit to the roster that Howie has put together than I give to Nick. And I'm not saying that he is, doesn't deserve any. He deserves a lot. He had to get the team. He had to deal with those personalities and such. And he is a leader of men. I will give you that. But he's not the best strategic coach, right? He's definitely, and I know what I'm describing is that CEO type of coach, and he's good at that. I'll give him that. But I don't, some things you have strengths and you have weaknesses, and his weakness is not, strategy, X's and O's. And especially to me on the offensive side of the ball, I mean, it's quite evident that he wouldn't have that type of insight and knowledge for the defensive type of ball, but he's an offensive coach, an offensive mind, right? And he doesn't have it even for the offensive side of the ball with some of these predictable rudimentary plays that the Eagles have been running for the past 5 years, because people are talking about they haven't been innovative. They've been running the same system and same plays for, the past 3 to 5 years. You know what I mean? So that's his flaw to me. And because of that flaw, I don't consider him, a top echelon coach. As a matter of fact, in my perception, I think that he may be hindering the process to an extent. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't agree with
I
that.
want him to have autonomy. I want him to have autonomy, right? I don't want Nick involved in the offense at all. And I'm not in the building, but it's just my perception that he meddles too much in the offense, and that is the problem. When he gets involved with the offense, is the problem with the offense.
No.
And that's, you know what I mean? Just keep your hands out of this.
That all that last year, I'm gonna be honest with you, Dark Knight. Some of the stuff I kind of agree with you with, but calling Nick Sirianni not a good coach, I don't agree with. No way in the world does a coach, regardless of your roster, all right? Because if we go around the NFL, there are rosters that look tremendous.
I didn't say he wasn't a good coach. I just said.
But again, I don't
Go
agree that, you know what, he didn't have his hands in the pot. He actually admitted, say, you know what, I need to be more in supporting and helping our offensive coordinator last year. He said that, so I agree with that. Oh, and one more thing, I saw a comment up there about Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is a defensive coach. He's not gonna come as an offense coordinator. So I just got to make sure that is true. But to be brutally honest, right? Nick Sirianni is embracing the role as the CEO head coach. He's not getting in the way of the offensive coordinator. The last 2 seasons, he hasn't gotten in the way of the offensive coordinator.
Nope. I
Yes,
don't believe that.
it has been some philosophies of his own office, but more or less it's been those offensive coordinators running the offense, especially last year, especially with Kellen Moore. And that was actually said. I'm gonna pull it up one day. I'm gonna put on there when I can find it, and we get a intern. We could pull up the clips and say that. But darn that, really quickly, I do have to end this quarter and go to the fourth quarter because we're running long.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, go ahead. I'm supposed to go?
Oh, you do the soundboard now. Dark Knight, where you at?
All right, okay.
You a little rusty.
All right, so you're watching Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show by us Eagles fans and for us Eagles fans. And here, what happened?
Nothing.
Are we good?
Yeah, we good. We here. I think you were breaking up. Yeah, I think you were breaking up. So
right.
I
said, all right. So you're watching Eagles Talk, the most unique.
Yeah, I think you're breaking up. I got you.
You have what?
You're breaking up. Your sound was.
Am I breaking up?
Yeah. Your sound was breaking up. Like you're froze right now. All right, so you're watching Eagles Talk by Eagles fans for Eagles fans, the most unique Eagles Talk show on Facebook. As Dark Knight tries to fix his connection, I know he's frozen on the camera right now, but he'll be right back shortly because his voice is all over this program. And I appreciate y'all for watching and tuning in. This is a very trying time right now as we get ready for the off season of our Philadelphia Eagles. Dark Knight, are you back?
Yeah, I think I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Got a little delay, but you're good.
I'm delayed, huh? Maybe let me go out and come back in.
All right, let me get this shot ready for everybody out there.
Hold on,
Richard Layton, you're late, so you gotta take 4 shots. I know you're doing the ultra, the rain. You're doing Crown Royal in ultra light. Let me know what you're drinking out there. I am drinking a Trader for Gaves. I had 3 shots already, so if I'm saying it wrong, I don't care. I'm drinking it. Drink what you drink. Drink safely. For everybody that's around the Philadelphia or Northeast Corridor area, please be safe this weekend because we're about to get some storms. Yes, the media makes it much more than what it really is going to be, but we should be all right. We should be all right. So let's toast to our Philadelphia Eagles as they get ready to hire a new offensive coordinator and defensive backs coach. Hopefully it's Darius Slay or Asante Samuel. I don't know who they should get, but to our Philadelphia Eagles down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the fourth quarter.
Woo. I'm waiting for Dark Knight to come back, but that was good. That was good. Listen, by the 4th shot on this one, this bottle it starts to taste well because you even know anything about drinking, especially you drink some good spirits, the oxygen in the spirits makes the spirits actually taste better. So the introduction of oxygen into the spirit is starting to make this taste much better. And all
right, how about that?
Right here, you sound much better, Dark Knight.
All right, okay, good. I'm back now. So, we took the shot.
I took the shot.
All right, okay. So, getting back to what I was talking about, I'm not saying that Nick Sirianni is the good coach. I'm just questioning your perception of what involvement he had with the offense last year. I'm definitely questioning that. I think that it was his involvement that bogged the offense down in the beginning of last year. He was supposed to have, and I'm talking about Kellen Moore right now. Kellen Moore was supposed to have come into this situation last year with autonomy. And that's what I called for even last year when he meant that Nick not have anything to do with the offense because of what had happened with Brian Johnson, right? And I was great. I was cool with Kellen Moore having a complete autonomy. But then I heard something that Nick Sirianni said during the preseason press conference, and he and at the beginning of the year, and his talk was, and I'm paraphrasing, but his talk went something like, well, you know, we're working with Kellen to integrate his plays in with our system. And when he said that, that told me that he's meddling in the affairs, right? What, you know, why are you mixing your playbook with this guy? Your playbook doesn't work. That's why we got an offensive coordinator, so they can bring in their plays, right? But here we are, you're trying to integrate your plays in with this man's system. This man was a veteran play caller, an offensive coordinator for some of the top offenses in this league, and you're talking about you're trying to integrate your system in with his. That's what I was talking about when I said, leave it alone. You get out of the way. Stay out of the way. And it wasn't until the 4th week of last season when they got it together. And probably more when, you know, Kellen Moore did his thing than Nick Sirianni doing his thing. I just don't have trust in him when it comes to that type of thing. That's what I'm saying. So I would like the next. I would like. Yeah, I agree with Eddie on this one. His playbook is prevent offense, right? Like it needs to be going. So this new coordinator comes in. Please give him autonomy, and the reason. Let me go back to last year, because the reason that I really believe that he was so insistent on merging his playbook with Kellen Moore's was, I think that he felt, you know, because there was a lot of talk before last season about what does Nick do? Not this past season. I'm talking about the Super Bowl year. What does Nick do? Remember, they brought in this OC, and a lot of talk was like, well, if Nick doesn't have anything to do with the offense, then what does he do? And to me, and this is just speculation, maybe even reckless speculation, but to me, I think it was Nick trying to prove that he has some input in this team, and by inserting himself into that offensive room and trying to have his meshed with Kellen Moore's playbook. And I think that's what the problem was with the offense in the first 4 weeks. It was until they discovered that their best path to victory was that they just went straight run. You know what I mean? So I want having this past year where the offense looked incredibly horrible. You know, I think that bringing in this new offensive coordinator, you have to give him autonomy, and you have to be, have a talk with Nick. I mean, have an adult conversation, but it has to be known that you stay out of it. You know what I mean? He should have no more involvement, to me, in my opinion, with the offense as he has with the defense. And we know that Vic Fangio is running that defense, right?
Vic Fangio runs the defense. It's just like if you go back to watch the program, the head coach was the head coach. You had the offensive coordinator, you had the defensive coordinator. You go through the league, you have these coaches that don't participate in offensive defense. And we jump the gun all the time and talk about this is Nick's offense. No, it's not Nick's offense. Because if it was Nick's offense, right? Especially with Mike what's his name? From last year, the Super Bowl year, he went to the Saints.
What was the
right?
Nick?
Wait a minute. So we say this is a version of Nick's offense that's being ran by these offensive coordinators and not their offense. Nobody's going to sign up. No offensive coordinator is going to sign up and say, you know what, come here and run my offense and not run your offense. No offensive coordinator is going to do that. There's going to be some opportunities where you're going to say you're going to take some good plays and you're going to have this conversation with the head coach. The head coach is the CEO. And now you get the special cases like Sean McVay, Andy Reid, Sean Payton in Denver, that offensive coordinators.
What alerted me to my.
So what happens is let's look at what they have done for their teams lately. So if we go to Kellen Moore, his team is in a bottom half of offensive stats this year. That's his offense, right? That's his offense. Now, can it be the players? No. What happens is we always assume that these offensive coordinators are coming here and running Nick Sirianni's playbook.
But he had
I don't
last
believe
year.
that is.
Jesus. Like,
I don't think I don't look Dark
Yeah,
Knight.
but
I
he's
don't
the-
think
he-
an
the
offensive
offense-
coordinator will come here and run your playbook.
Cam.
You're breaking up, Dark Knight. I'm sorry. You're breaking up. There you go. You back? You might have to go just audio because I know where you're about to go. Because I see it in your facial
Oh
expression.
man.
I see it in your facial expression.
I'm talking, but obviously you guys can't hear me, right? You can't hear me.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up badly. Yeah,
All right, you guys out there, am I breaking up badly?
You're good.
Tell
now.
me in the chat room, am I breaking up badly? I want to know, because I want to know, am I breaking up badly to you or to everybody? You know what I'm saying? So I just want to ask them. Put it in the chat room if I'm breaking up to you. I just want to know. I'm trying to pinpoint what the problem is. But can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
All right. So what I'm saying is it's obvious that nobody wants to take the job without bringing their playbook. The problem is Nick getting involved in that. And that's the whole point I was making, is that Kellen Moore, Nick said that they were working on integrating Kellen Moore's system with what they were already running, which is Nick's system. That's what I mean about, him having too much say, man. Let the man had his own playbook. He had his own system. Just leave that man alone and let him run what he needed to run. And I don't think that, I think that he started out trying to integrate or put his touch on Kellen Moore's offense. And that's the struggle that we had the first 4 weeks of that Super Bowl season. But, moving forward, we bring in the OC here. You give him autonomy and allow him to run his system.
Correct.
That's what you do. And assure him that there's going to be involvement by, I'm not going to say any involvement. You can't say that, but you let him know that, he has control over that offensive unit, just as Vic has control over that defensive unit.
Absolutely.
Nick is not going over there telling Vic what to do. So, you treat the offense the same way. You just have to zoom out a little bit more. And if somebody asks what you do, you just tell them you win games. That should be good enough. If somebody asks you, what do? You say, I win. I keep my nose where it doesn't belong, and I win. And I think keeping his nose where it belongs involves staying out of that offense. Don't put your hands on it. I know you get the call whether you go fourth and stuff like that. Talking about don't let the offensive coordinator do.
Yeah, like I said, I agree with your assessment, Dark Knight. I 100% agree with your assessment about that, because as the head coach that doesn't call plays,
man, I know it's an hour.
What'd you say? So like I said, I agree with your assessment.
I was just saying,
yeah, we were coming up on a 110, about an hour and 10 minutes. But like I said, I agree with your assessment. And long as Nick is out of it this year, Nick needs to be out of it. I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree with that. He needs to be the CEO, head coach. He can go in the defensive room, offensive room, just make sure everything is right. Lead the men properly. Give them the proper speeches. Recommend them and reprimand them when needed. All right. Be the head coach, like the Mike Tomlins of the world and the Mike Vrabels and the Kirk Siggy Siniagis, who just won the national championship with the Indiana Hoosiers. You know, you should know Indiana, right? That's the Indiana University. I'm not gonna talk about it. So the thing about it is,
yeah, the Indiana University.
There you go. Look at you.
Home of Kappa Alpha Psi, birthplace of Fraternity Incorporated. All right.
That's why I said that. But anyway, that's why I brought him up. But anyway,
we're gonna stay abreast of these developments, the OC, and we're gonna be here all season. In case you guys are wondering, we don't take the off season off. We're here every Thursday. We're just not here. There's no games for us to do, 2 days a week. But we're here during the off season, and we'll be here every Thursday. And you can continue to tune in. As a matter of fact, I gotta get the audio back up. Audio podcast to be back up. I'm gonna work on it after this. So you can also listen to this broadcast on your favorite audio platform. I just have to reconnect it. So look for this episode if you don't have the time to make it live or sit down and watch it. I love the audio podcast portion of this because you can listen at your leisure while you're driving and stuff like that. And it's not a heavy lift. Listen to the audio podcast. So look for that. That'll be up there. But I thank you guys, man, for tuning in and spending your evening with us and allowing us to travel this Eagles off-season journey with you guys, man, because there's a lot that has to happen. We have to get an OC. We have to decide what free agents we're going to re-sign, because this team may look a little different next year because of all the free agents we have, and we have to start to pay some people. Like Dallas Goedert might be a casualty of that. So just stick with us, man. We're going to go over all that during this whole offseason. I'm your man, Dark Knight. And for my co-host, Pat, thank you to Shell when he was in town for sitting in and being here. But we had the old gang back together, and I'm sorry I missed it last Thursday, but it was a pleasure and entertaining watching you two guys handle the show last week. And Nichelle's still with us, so we thank her. But we're going to sign off, and we'll be back on next Thursday, same bat channel, same bat time, about 7:15. All right, I'm your man. I'm out. Peace.
Peace.
We go live in 5, 4, 3, 2. Smash him up, crack that fool. Quarterback whack, yo, sack that fool. Hit him,